Buenas noches, vengo a resolver el reto de la semana 12. Entonces voy a leer este documento de Harvard Business Review que, que es sobre como técnicas para solicitar presupuesto. Entonces se llama Six Pitching Techniques to Use When Budgets Are Tight by Alison Zafira. The summary is persuasion is not a speech, it's a process. A process of learning about your audience, earning their trust, and building a case that takes into account their interest. In this article, the author outlines 6 steps you can take to try persuade a client or senior executive to spend money when budgets are tight. One, start with stakeholder analysis. Two, get crystal clear about the benefits to your offering. Three, connect with a sense of timelines to urgency. Four, look for social proof. And five, anticipate their objections. Six and final, provide a clear next step. Bueno, how can you persuade a client or senior executive to spend money when budget are tight? Perhaps you are an audit director persuading a business head to take a costly step to avoid the raft of regulators and HR executive lobbying your internal client to invest in training while they are going through layoffs, or an engineer trying to convince your VP to prioritizing your project over others. No matter your title or job function, each of us is in a sales role, as Daniel Pink described to sales in human. At some point, we will need to sell or ideas, project or recommendation to others. Each of us can develop the abilities of influence, often without having formal authority. It requires a delicate balance of relationship building, negotiation, persuasive communication skills. Over the past 20 years of teaching these topics, here is what I have found to be most effective. One, start with the stakeholder analysis. In the HBR Guide to Persuasive Presentation, Ken Heimer says, designing a presentation with an audience in mind is like writing a love letter and addressing it to whom it may concern. Start by talking to the people to seek to influence before making your case. Ask questions to understand what's going on in their organization, what challenge they're facing in their industry, and what their individual goals are for their role. Asking someone to spend money can be thorough, and they might be worried about their own jobs. Try to understand what they are going through before you ask them to take action. Two, get crystal clear about the benefits of your offering. While it may be obviously to us why an organization should take a particular action, it's not always clear to decision makers. After your stakeholder analysis crystallizes what you have learned about the audiences you need to combine. What are the benefits to them or the organization if they make this investment? For instance, if your service will save a client money, be prepared to show how much they can expect to save. If will reduce turnover, quantify by how much, etc. Demonstrating a cost reducing impact is critically important when budgets are lean. The argument have to be persuasive to your client and those they report to, not just to you. 3. Connect with a sense of timeliness or urgency. When we teach persuasion, we teach people to answer the question, why now? When combining other to take action, the scarcity principle of influence by Robert Cialdini suggests using loose language to demonstrate why it is important to take immediate action. What cost will your audience incur by failing to take action? For example, if you're convincing a client to buy your product or service, how is their indecisions costing them money? How can you demonstrate to them that they can't afford not to take advantage of your service? This demo video created by professional speakers Tracy Brown makers and and compelling case to why companies should hire her. 4. Look for social proof. We are influenced by others who are in similar situations. What other organizations are already taking action, and how can you demonstrate that your product or recommended project is benefit them? For instance, if you had like to make the case or for training admitted lawyers and one of your main competitors is investing or training, you could explain that your competition is going to retain more and they top talent through this offering as opposed to to going into complete austerity measures. Your could suggest training to bring them up together for foster a sense of trust and connection, even amidst the uncertainty of layer. Anticipate their objections. One of my favorite persuasive tools is the I know what you're thinking strategy. Use your knowledge of your client or industry to relative to what may be holding them back. You could use the field found technique to something like I can imagine it might be through the approval for a program like this. We have seen other organizations struggle with this as well, and we have found that by framing the program through the lens or retention and succession planning, they were able to get approval. When you demonstrate that you can understand what on their minds, you will build trust. 6. Provide a clear next step. So often, the hardest part of the persuasive process in making the ask. When we teach persuasive presentation, we recommend a clear call to action that outlines next steps. How can you anticipate the client's next steps and provide a clear path that removes potential barriers? Say something like, when we decide to move forwards, our next step will be the following. This helps the decision makes themselves in progress and make it easier to say yes. Putting it all together, for example, of the 6 steps in action, is turn to my college or it Rosenblum and draw an experienced sales executive or it practice consultative selling when a sales professional acts more like an advisor than a salesperson instead of pushing a specific product. They will first seek to understand their potential customers' pain points before recommending a variety of solutions based on their customer needs. In the previously role, Orit worked for a company that sold an innovative technology and solution to sales professionals. She she told me about a new client and she was targeting within a SAP 100 technology company that was already a customer, rather than the normal offering their company had provided. Wright wanted to suggest a more complex and expensive solution. The new client uh, was having a hard time getting approval for it. It was a big expense and their sales number weren't looking great. Let's look at how Orit applied the step we suggest about stakeholder analysis. Orit started the conversation by putting aside budget and focusing on value in an effort to understand the client's underlying pain point. Mm, when she explained to me, or it said you can just call a customer, say, tell me about your pain. Is take a few calls, conversation to get the peer and the peer in the consultative still process, selling process. Crystal clear benefit with that information already prepared for a new conversation that addressed her clients pain point and how her company solution could help solve it. This make it easier for a client to talk to their manager. Urgency. The client biggest customer event of the year was coming up and the company wants to make a powerful impression or reposition it her solution to show her clients, customer their value they provide in the industry. Social proof. Or it included information on how her solution was helping other sales organizations, identifying what her point was, that value her company provides, and the ultimate outcome. Clear next steps, or it put together a plan for the entire team, including for her client and her manager who had control of the budget. She also anticipated their objection by including how they could work with different departments on implementation so that when they were ready and they knew exactly how to proceed. How was the outcome? So what was the outcome? Or it say it didn't happen overnight. It took 3 months, but they clean success in getting the money 2 months into the project. The client says to me, Ari, it was hard to get the money as an expense, but because we use your software in the quarter and say the ROI on the value, we don't see it as an expense anymore. And we see that investment or salespeople are using it and it's working. We get more warm leads and it's shortening the sales cycle because our customers are already engaged and come prepared with questions. Or is finally worth during our conversation where if you can solve a real problem for someone, even when budgets are tight, they will find the budget for it. Persuasion is not a speech, it's a process of learning about your audience, earning your trust, earning their trust, and building a case that take into account their interests. These skills are important in any situation, and essential in times to limited resource. Bueno, básicamente sobre lo que nos habla este artículo de Alison Zafira es que bueno, son 6 pasos o 6 puntos a tener en cuenta, 6 técnicas a la hora de nosotros solicitar un presupuesto cuando de pronto están escasos, cuando de pronto no hay mucho dinero, la empresa no tiene mucho dinero pues como para aprobarnos ese proyecto, nos habla de que probablemente los inversionistas o los socios o los gerentes nos van a preguntar por qué te debo de priorizar, por qué sos vos primero antes que otros, cuál es la urgencia, qué beneficios voy a tener. Entonces una frase muy importante que nos dicen es como persuadir a los demás no es como un don, es algo que se trabaja. Entonces aquí nos dicen que básicamente nosotros tenemos que aprender a vender, nosotros tenemos siempre que tener un vendedor en nosotros, no solamente quienes trabajen en ventas, en marketing y demás, sino también nosotros trabajemos en el área en la que trabajemos porque básicamente eh, nosotros muchas veces vamos a tener que vender ideas, planes a seguir, estrategias, y tenemos que explicar el por qué es mejor lo que yo estoy planteando y no lo que ya se está implementando o lo que está planteando otra persona. Entonces, digamos que muchos de nosotros debemos de aprender como a cómo interactuar y a cómo llegarle a esas personas a las que queremos llegarle para solicitar un presupuesto, que digamos nosotros se nos ocurre una idea y que de verdad proyectándola es muy beneficiosa, pero si no sabemos vender esa idea, pues no hicimos nada, porque parte muy importante de una gran idea es saber comunicarla a los demás.